So I can sit here and try to find evidence and speculate on the matter if testosterone is beneficial to scalp hair and if blocking the androgen receptor would cause these hairs in the long term to degrade. But we can just put this to rest with what we already know. And I want to give a special shout out to a subscriber of mine who was able to get this gate kept study that was from decades ago. So thank you to Wayla in my Discord server. But without further ado, let's get on with the video. The study conducted by James B. Hamilton, published in the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology and Metabolism in October 1960, presents what is really groundbreaking research on the effects of castration on male pattern baldness, particularly in adolescent and young adult males. Now, we've known for a long time that men who do not have their gonads, their testicles, their balls, right? They don't seem to lose their hair. Hippocrates, who's known as the father of medicine in the West, can even be quoted as saying, quote, "Eunuchs are not subject to gout, nor do they become bald." Similarly, Aristotle observed that eunuchs don't go bald on top, but he also made the assessment that women do not go bald because they don't produce semen, but we know that women can go bald. So I guess he was just making some sort of general claim. But it is the truth that eunuchs, men who are castrated, whether it's before puberty, right? If it's before puberty, they don't lose their hair. If it's after puberty, the hair loss that they were experiencing kind of stalls. If not, they get some sort of hair regrowth. So this objective study by James B. Hamilton essentially just puts this in a science and conclusively finds that this is the reality. You don't have your balls, you can grow your hair back, or depending on when you cut your balls off, if it's before puberty, then you won't lose your hair. That's a crude way of putting things, and I'm not saying cut your balls off because there are some people who are very impressionable, and YouTube has content creators who make these sorts of content put a disclaimer. So disclaimer here, guys, don't cut off your balls, but let's proceed with what Hamilton found in his study. So by observing 21 males after undergoing castration, Hamilton aimed to explore the role of androgens in the development and progression of male pattern baldness. His findings revealed that after castration, subjects showed no further development or expansion of the bald areas, indicating a significant halt in the progression of male pattern baldness when compared to their intact counterparts. Men who were castrated before puberty had no visible signs of androgenetic alopecia developing. This research provided a clear link between testicular androgens and male pattern baldness, suggesting that the reduction of the body's androgen levels through castration could effectively prevent or slow down the development of baldness. But here the cure is worse than the disease, so let's take a step back and not do that. But I bring up Hamilton's results because it challenges the notion that if you were to block the androgen receptor and prevent testosterone and other androgens coming in contact with the androgen receptor in the hair follicle, that it could negatively impact the hair quality or result in some sort of long-term weird hair loss that's absent of androgenetic alopecia. So it could be some sort of hair loss condition that is predicated on the hair follicle not getting stimulation via androgen receptor from testosterone or any other androgen besides DHT. But in fact, this study, the Hamilton study, shows that, especially in the case of men who were castrated before puberty, if that was the case, if they needed testosterone, then I'm sure that Hamilton would have pointed out that, wow, the hair quality for these men, it's pretty ass, right? But instead what you see is high quality. These men don't lose hair whatsoever. That is, the men who are castrated in their adolescence, they don't lose their hair. They keep their juvenile hair, and they just pristine hair condition. Even the men who were balding and were subsequently castrated after puberty, they saw some improvement in the bald areas of their scalps. And they didn't see any further progression of androgenetic alopecia. So here, if we really needed testosterone, we would have seen the quality of the hair progressively get worse. Now, we know that there are quality differences between hair from men and hair from women. All you have to do is look up scanning electron microscope photos of male versus female hair. We also know that estrogen elongates the duration of time in which the hair follicle grows a particular hair. That's why women typically have longer hair, and the quality of the hair itself is different. You can also check forums in the literature of people who have the transgender experience, right? People who present as males who undergo hormone replacement therapy to get to a more feminine profile. The quality of their scalp hair changes too. So, just to conclude here on this particular point, I don't think testosterone really does much on scalp hair growth. Maybe it has a minimal effect, but completely blocking the androgen receptor such that not even testosterone can frequently bind to it. No, I don't think it's going to cause hair loss by any stretch of the mean, or it's going to reduce the quality of the hair on the scalp. But if there's more evidence to it, I'm happy to change my opinion here. But I think Hamilton's study conclusively shows that, well, I mean, these men didn't have that much testosterone in their body, if any at all. Their hair quality only got better. We predicate our same understandings with the Imparocto-McKinley discovery about men who are deficient in type 2 5-alpha reductase, which causes them to have less DHT in their serum and in their tissues. And what did we see there? These pseudohermaphrodites only had better hair. It's just that over here, they lost their 5-alpha reductase type 2 enzymatic activity. And the Hamilton case, these men got their balls cut off. And I don't want to cut off my balls just to save my hair. So I'd rather target DHT, reduce type 2 or even type 1, both enzymatic activity of 5-alpha reductase.